channel. Unless you haven't been here before, I'm the Northwest Fisherman Chris, and today we're going to do a little bit of a late unboxing on that 6 cent six sack from June. I know it's July. I recently had to move. It was a big, huge ordeal. All that fun stuff. But I didn't open this, and I didn't open the Monster Bass Gold box. So we can rip into this right now. Let's get started. Got that wonderful 6 cents velvety sack, and my box didn't even get squished or anything in the move. So everything's good to go in here. I was actually really worried about that. But let's get into this. Alright, so our first bait we've got here is a Crush 250 medium diver, 5/8 ounce. It's a 70 millimeter bait. Crack this open here real quick. This one is going to dive 7 to 11 feet. It's a medium diver, so that's perfect. Actually, this is going to be really awesome on my new on the new lake nearby me, because majority of the lake, oddly enough, the lake is absolutely huge, but a lot of the lake is right there, about 10-20 feet. It's kind of a weird lake. I've never fished a lake quite like it. This color right here is called Chartreuse Sungill, so let's get a good look at that. Maybe this light is too much. Let's back that. Oh, there we go. Alright, Chartreuse Sungill. So on the back, it's got a nice, beautiful blue pearlescent back into a yellow side. That side is yellow. There's no chartreuse here. I don't know. That's weird that they would call it Chartreuse Sungill, but there's no chartreuse. That's just yellow, guys. It's got that beautiful orange spot right there with a little bit. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but it's actually got like a scale pattern on that orange spot. That nice medium diving bill. Of course, you've got your black nickel hooks. I'm kind of interested to see that these aren't like your typical 6 cents hooks. They're not EWG style treble hooks, which is a little weird, but this is a fantastic bait. And the cool thing about this is, for its size being a medium diver, it's got a larger bait profile itself, which is going to be great, especially as we get into these dog days of summer. It's a beautiful looking bait. I really like that. But why is it called chartreuse? Because this thing is not chartreuse. Alright, let's move on before I sit here and talk about why this isn't chartreuse and why that kind of annoys me that they call it chartreuse. Let's just grab another hard bait. Okay, so here we go. So this is a Dogma 100. It's 100 millimeter, half ounce walking, topwater walking bait. I like the Dogma quite a bit. I've been really trying to get into, because I love jerk baits, so I'm really trying to get into using walking baits. And the color on this is French Bone Pearl, which is a absolutely fantastic color. I found bone is turning in to be a really good color. It's not quite my go-to color, but it's a super solid color. So yeah, so you've got that beautiful pearl bone. You got a little bit of gold around the eyes. You got a little bit of an inlet here, so when it's walking, it has a little bit of a splash. And when you're using a walking bait, you use it kind of like a, basically just like, think about it as like a jerk bait that's on top of the water. So you're just gonna kind of pop it as it goes, and it's just gonna have kind of an erratic action to it as it's walking back to you. It'll dart this way, it'll dart that way. I'm gonna throw it on fluorocarbon. Because I haven't really found that walking baits are really affected by the weight of the fluorocarbon line. But definitely, you can throw it on monofilament if you want to. But you're definitely going to have a medium action rod for this. Just because of the treble hooks. And speaking of the treble hooks, there are 3 beautiful black nickel treble hooks hanging down there. And yeah, it's a very simple looking bait, but very, very effective. This is for sure a bait that's gonna go in my like usual like my go-to box, because I have a box that's just full of stuff that I think I will use that day, plus I have everything else, and everything in that box I usually keep pre-rigged. Maybe I'll make a video about that box. But yeah, Dogma 100, French Bone Pearl, wonderful bait. Let's see, do we have another hard bait before we get into other things here? Ooh, okay. So this is a Munch 40. So this is a 7/16 weight bait, 2.5 inches. This is like a, I don't want to call it a square bill because it is not a square bill in traditional sense. The color on this guy right here is bluegill spawn. This is a really great color. There's a lot going on in this color. So starting at the back, you've got like that root beer colored pattern there on the back. It's got scale shapes into it. Then on the sides, you've got like this purple and this pink with the vertical lines on it to make it look like a bluegill. It's got that rich reddish orange belly right up front. This guy dives about 1 to 3 feet. Super awesome bait. I didn't even give these guys a listen. So let's go back to the 250 MD. Very muted, very muted rattle. And then let's see what that Dogma. The Dogma's pretty loud. Yeah, it's got a heavy knock in there. But this Munch 40, big old single knocker. No, this is going to be an excellent bait, especially when you're fishing those submerged brush piles. And you don't want to you want to run a crank, but you don't want to run like a square bill or something like that because you don't really want to make contact with that brush pile. This is the guy because it's floating. It only dives to 3 feet max, but typically you're going to be sitting right there about 18 inches underneath the surface. So you can fish this about as shallow as you want. It's not the most weedless thing in the world, and it is not a square bill. It's square bill-ish, but it's not a square bill. Don't bounce this guy off cover because it's going to want to hook that cover. And speaking of those hooks, this has those black nickel EWG style treble hooks that I love so much from 6th Sense, which is really weird. The other two don't have that. I'm kind of surprised by that. But yeah, this is definitely going to be going straight into that daily box. Alright, do we have any more hard baits? I don't even know what's in here. Yeah, it feels like we got one more hard bait. Yeah, okay. So we have a Crush 75X with the flat sides. And I think this color's, yeah, this is the Bluegill Fire. So this is 5/8 of an ounce. It's a square bill. Flat sides, of course. This is the guy that you want to bounce off the cover, do all that fun stuff. Color is Bluegill Fire again. This guy's going to dive 2 to 5 feet. It's going to be 5/8 of an ounce. And this thing is amazing looking. So you've got that dark green pearl back. Yeah, it's got a dark back. So you've got that scaling on the sides there. And then you've got your vertical slashes. Looks like a bluegill and spawn. You got that red belly. That kind of, oh, I don't even know how to describe that color. It's like a green-yellow. You got the blue, and you got the brownish, and you've got the spots. This thing's wicked. And you've got those monster, absolutely massive EWG style black nickel hooks. These, I love these. Let's give this guy a listen. A little bit muted there, not too bad, but when you're fishing a flat side, the reason why you want to fish a flat side versus always fishing like a normal bodied square bill. You know what? Let me see if I got one here real quick. I can pull it out of the drawer to show you what I mean. Okay. So here's your normal square bill. Here's a flat side. Okay. So obviously it has flat sides. So when this goes through the water, you've seen these. They've kind of got like that big wide wobble a little bit when they're coming through the water. They just kind of go like that through the water. This is much tighter. So it still wobbles, but it's not as wide. And this is great for high pressured waters because it doesn't have that same movement as everybody else's square bills, and with it being tighter, you can get away with it and super clear water a lot easier. Another really great honorable mention for a flat-sided square bill is their new, I guess it's not new anymore, but the Finesse F4 with the circuit board lip. I really, really like that bait, and I really like this bait. This is a great high-pressure bait, and the colors on it are just, they're absolutely fantastic. Okay, so 4 hard baits down. Let's see what we got. What's it feel like we got in here? Okay, so we'll grab this, whatever this is. So we got more jugular hybrid hooks. These guys are a 4/0. We'll go ahead and whip one of these out because I'm willing to bet whatever's in the bottom of that bag right there, that's going to be a soft plastic, and we're going to want this hook. So it's just a 4/0 worm hook. These are super, it's a heavy wire hook. I haven't broken any of these, and I haven't been able to bend out any of these on anything. Logs, concrete, big bass, anything. I'm actually a pretty big fan of the 6th Sense hooks because they are all heavy wire hooks. Now, at the same time, I also do carry other hooks because these aren't great for finesse presentations, like super finesse ones when you have like a little bitty fluke and you don't want to throw something. Well, obviously you're not going to throw it on a worm hook, but you know what I mean. This isn't super great for weightless presentations. So, oh, there is something hard in here. Okay, so we got some 6th Sense shaky heads, 1/4 ounce, 3/0. That's actually really exciting. Let's pop one of these things out here because I bet this is also going to go with whatever the soft plastic is. So, really cool thing about this, I really love the corkscrew locks on my shaky head hooks. Plus this one, it just stands up in my hand perfectly, so you can just scoot it across the bottom. It's got a nice heavy wire hook. Yeah, I can't really bend that. I mean, I could bend that out if I really tried, but it's not gonna just turn to crap. Plus the way that the bait lock is sitting on there, it's going to treat this more like a flipping hook kind of deal. So when they hit it, they're going to go straight and get hooked. So yeah, we'll look at this as soon as we get the last thing out here, which I believe should be our exclusive. Okay, so this is really cool. This is the brand new Busa Shaky Worm 6.5 inch. It's not an exclusive color, but this just came out. Okay, so when I got my 6th Sense box, this wasn't out yet. So let's check this guy out. So it's a shaky head worm. It's got heavy ribbing down the sides. Okay, so that's really cool. And it's got kind of a finer little telescopic tail. Green pumpkin color. You cannot go wrong with this. And that is exactly why we got the worm hooks and we got the shaky head. You know, actually, I'm going to bite the end of this off. Just to that first rib. Okay. Bite the end of that off. I find it a little bit easier on when I'm rigging stuff for shaky heads in general, if I bite the end of the worm off, because it allows me to get it up to that weight a little bit more flush and a little bit flatter. You don't have to, it's something that I do. It probably doesn't help, but it definitely doesn't hurt. Okay, so I got that threaded down on there. And then, we're going to be right in this rib. Okay, and then pull those ribs up to expose it kind of like that. And bingo. There we go. And then it's just going to float, just like that. I'm just going to kind of scoot it across the bottom. That's great. I really like that. And then of course, the way you're going to rig it on just a regular worm hook is you're just going to go back. I usually go right till the hook bends right there. Okay. Wow, I'm still getting used to this camera. Thread that around, push it over the knot because I like pushing it over the knot so this part's actually covered. And it's going to be just like that. So, but rigging it on the worm style hook, I don't typically ever bite the end off. And that's what we got for the show today, folks. I'm actually really super happy with this month's sack. I'm actually kind of sad I didn't open this sooner because this would have been kind of nice, especially this morning at the lake I went to. With it being super shallow. Basically everything here is going straight into my day box, which is cool. That means I gotta take stuff out of my day box. Oh well, it's okay. It's getting hot out there, guys. Stay hydrated, stay cool, wear sunscreen or like a sun shirt, because you don't want all of that sun beating on you. Nobody wants that C word. But just be safe out there. Watch out for the boaters. Watch out for other hazards. Depending where you are in the country, watch the weather. Please watch the weather, guys. But yeah, so I'm going to let you guys go. And remember, FAFO, fish around and find out. Take care. Peace, guys.